So today you will be on page 171. We're on lesson 9, number and shape patterns. So in this lesson, throughout the next 4 sessions, you will generate a number or shape pattern that follows a rule. Identify the apparent features of the pattern that were not explicit in the rule itself. So for this one should be pretty easy for you guys. It's what are the next 2 numbers in the pattern below? Well, let's look at our pattern. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. What do you think comes next? 30, 35. Now let's talk about the rule for this. The rule for this could be add 5. Because 5 plus 5. 10 plus 5. 15 plus 5. But if we set this up in our table that we do, it could be a times 5 pattern. Be 1 times 5, 5. 2 times 5, 10. 3 times 5, 15. And then we're just skip counting down. Okay, but our rule is add 5. Okay. For these number shapes and patterns, the next lessons are not going to talk about tables, but I am going to include them. Okay, because you've already learned about them in our skip counting and when finding multiples, and tables are important. So we're going to explain how you found the next 2 numbers in the pattern. Well, we found the next 2 numbers in the pattern by skip counting. Okay. You should have been able to find that easily because we practice skip counting all the time. Sometimes there are other patterns you can find. Look at the number and dot model pattern. So this is 5, 10, so we still have our numbers at the bottom, but now it's also represented as a dot pattern. Okay, so what pattern do you see in the digits in the ones place of the numbers? So the ones place is going up by 5 every time. And it goes 5, 0, 5, 0, 5, 0. And that's how we know things are multiples of 5, right? Because in the ones place, it's going to either be a 5 or a 0. 5 or 0. 5. So then you'd know. There is an even odd pattern in the numbers and dots. If so, what is it? So there is also an even and odd pattern. Our first number is odd. Our next number is even. 15 is odd. 20 is even. Okay. Look at the number patterns, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 17, 22, 17, 32. 27, 32, 37, 42. How are they the same and how are they different? So we have this number pattern and this number pattern, and they want us to say how they are the same and how they are different. These number patterns are the same because odd, even, odd, even. 17 is odd, 22 is even, because they both have an odd, even pattern. Okay. 5 plus 5 is 10, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. And they also add 5 each time. Well, how are they different? They're different because in this one, the ones is a 5, and this one is a 7. So this one is, the pattern is 5, 0, 5, 0, 5. So this one would be 5, 0, 5, 0, 5, 0 for the ones place. What's the pattern for this one in the ones place? 7, 2, 7, 2, 7, 2, 7, 2. Okay. So they have same rules. They do share some rules. The rules that they share are that the patterns are both odd, even, and they both add 5 to that first number and then continue to add 5. They're different because the ones place is 5, 0, 5, 0, 5, and the ones place over here is 7, 2, 7, 2, 7, 2. Describe a pattern that you have noticed in the real world. This one's up to you to answer. Is there anything in your world that has a nice pattern? So we're on 173. So think about what you know about patterns and fill in each box. So what is a pattern? Patterns are, what is a pattern? So patterns are lists of numbers or shapes that follow a rule. Okay. Well, what do you know about it? So hopefully what you know about patterns is that if you know a rule, you can figure out what comes next. Okay? So if you know the rule, you can figure out what comes next. I'm going to give you one example, and then I want you to draw 2 examples. So one example of a pattern could be square, circle, square, circle, square, circle. And then you would write the pattern is square, then circle. So now you take time to create 2 examples of patterns. The rest of these answers I will be asking you to fill out the Google form for. So what patterns can you find in the number pattern below? Multiple patterns, not just one. Give me a couple. And then what pattern can you find for question number 3? And these will be in a Google form.